Philip Rivers is the current quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts and the former quarterback for the San Diego and the Los Angeles Chargers. I lived in San Diego from 2006 to 2011 and had the pleasure of watching him as the quarterback for the team for those years. His unique throwing motion and knack for trash talking and talking smack divides fans and haters alike. He is known as one of the most intense and tough quarterbacks in NFL history. On top of that, he's an incredible role model for fans and Catholics like myself due to his devout faith and his dedication to his family and charitable work. So in this speech, I will discuss and celebrate his career and also his off-the-field life and charitable work as well, which makes him a great role model for anyone that is an NFL fan. So first, I want to talk to you about his college career. So he was born in Alabama, and when he was a senior in high school, he was recruited by Auburn and Alabama, but instead of going to those two powerhouse schools in state, he decided to go to North Carolina and attend NC State. He was a starter immediately, and while he was at NC State, he set almost every single conference record in the ACC, as well as almost every single NC State school record, and many of those still stand today. In his 4 years there, they attended 4 bowl games, and they won 3 of them. His senior year, he won ACC Player of the Year and ACC Athlete of the Year. So not only was he the best football player in the conference, but he was also the best athlete in the conference across the entire year. So from the fall, winter, and spring, out of all those sports, he was the best athlete in the conference that year, which is a pretty crazy accomplishment if you think about it. So his career in the NFL got off to a little bit of a rocky start, and a pretty infamous one is that. So some of you might know, some of you might not know, but I'll talk to you about it. He was a member of the 2004 draft fracas, if you call it that, with Eli Manning and the Chargers. So the Chargers wanted to draft Eli Manning, who is the younger brother of Peyton Manning, and they're both going to be Hall of Famers. The Chargers wanted to draft Eli Manning, and Eli Manning did not want to play quarterback for the Chargers. So the Chargers drafted him anyways after he said that he wasn't going to play for him, and instead they traded him, Eli Manning, to the New York Giants, who had selected Philip Rivers with the 4th pick of the draft. So they traded Eli Manning for Philip Rivers. Out of the 17 quarterbacks that were drafted that year in the draft, him and Ben Roethlisberger are the only 2 quarterbacks that still are starters in the NFL, let alone play in the NFL. He was the backup to Drew Brees for 2 years as a quarterback. And yes, that Drew Brees, who currently is a quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. And after those 2 years, he became the starter. And when he became the starter, let me tell you, he did not look back. His first year quarterback, sometimes quarterbacks, when they start off in the NFL, they don't come off to a hot start. Not Philip. He led the Chargers to a 14-2 record in the regular season, but unfortunately, they lost to the Patriots in the first round of the playoffs. In 2007, the very next year, his performance in the AFC Championship game is regarded as one of the gutsiest and toughest in NFL history. He played the entire game with a torn ACL, and he nearly led the Chargers to an upset of the perfect 17-0 New England Patriots. He played the entire game without Hall of Fame running back LaDainian Tomlinson and future Hall of Fame tight end Antonio Gates. The Chargers lost 21-12 and were that close to going to the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know if any of you have torn your ACL. I haven't, but I've been told it's extremely painful and it does not look fun. And I cannot imagine anybody who's torn their ACL playing a football game, let alone the NFL in the AFC Championship game against what was one of the best NFL teams in history. I could not imagine that. I mean, you have to be so tough to be able to do that. It's just incredible. Tom Brady and the Patriots have turned out to be his kryptonite, and he has never beaten them in the playoffs, which has prevented him from appearing in a Super Bowl or winning one, which has really put a damper on his record. As a member of the Chargers, he set 14 season records and 21 franchise career records. So he holds 35 Chargers records. He also currently holds 3 NFL records. He is second in the NFL in all-time consecutive starts by a quarterback. He has started 20. After today, he has started 230 straight games at quarterback. The next closest as an active player is Russell Wilson, who has started 133 in a row. All time, he is 5th across all positions in the NFL. So Philip has an unusual throwing motion where he kind of sidearms and shot puts it at the same time, which has led to a lot of people making fun of him for his unique throwing motion, but it gets results. Not only does he throw weird, but he also has a penchant for trash talking. And it does not matter who is on the field, what they're doing, Philip is not afraid to get in somebody's face and yell at them and talk smack. So it could be a 250-pound, defensive back or someone much bigger or stronger than him. He is just a tough competitor, and he's going to get right up in your face and he's going to let you know. So there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube. You can go watch it about Philip getting in people's faces and saying some of the most ridiculous things you ever heard, but he is not afraid to just get up in somebody's face. So most recently, there was a video released of him just talking about how his stew was boiled. Now, I don't know what you're talking about on the sideline of an NFL game, talking to the offensive coordinator about how your stew is boiled, but something really boiled his stew. He also is known for never cussing on the sideline, so they might come up a ton due to his unique kind of language that he kind of developed, being from Alabama, and just the trash talking. Everybody loves to hear just the craziest stuff that he has to say. It just blows their mind, whose face he's getting up in. But they had him on the sideline, and he never cusses, not one time. So that's just, a lot of people have said that it really pisses them off that he never cusses, and they try to trick him into cussing, but he'll never do it. He's always saying dadgummit or dang it or gosh, golly, those kind of things, but he will never ever cuss. And a lot of players that he's played against in the conference, so from the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Raiders, a lot of those defensive players have talked about how much they hated and hate Philip Rivers until they got to know him, just from his brash kind of playing style and how he likes to yell and trash talk. So his off the field life is what really makes him an excellent role model for NFL fans and Catholics like myself. He really inspires off the field. So like I said earlier, he's a devout Catholic, and he's also married his high school sweetheart. And as a Catholic myself, I find his commitment to his faith very inspiring. So he's kind of famous because he always has a priest travel with the team for away games, to make sure he does not miss mass. So he's very dedicated, and it's very inspiring. Because it would be obvious, really easy to make an excuse to skip out on that, but he makes sure that he does not miss out on that, which is really just awesome. He also has a really large family, which a lot of people kind of give him crap for that. I think he has 9 kids now, which is he's about to field a co-rec softball team, but that's all right. And that leads to, I think, some unfair scrutiny from the media and people who don't like him. Just they just are trying to find a reason not to like him, and so the fact that he's got a lot of kids is an easy target. He's also skipped Pro Bowls. He skipped the Pro Bowl to go to the hospital for the birth of his 5th child, and it was a daughter. And he also runs a foundation with his wife to help foster children in need. He is noted for living modestly for a star NFL quarterback, and lives well below his means. He's very humble. He drives like an old truck, and you would not think he's an NFL quarterback just looking at his car, let alone a star NFL quarterback. He's given a now famous commencement address at the Catholic University of America, where he talked about his personal motto, Nunc Coepi, which is Latin for "Now I begin," which I think is a really great motto, because it's easy to get caught up in things you screw up in, and things you don't do well in life, and just using Nunc Coepi in the back of your head, "Now I begin." It's just easy to reset and rethink and just get over that. And so I think that's a really good message, and that's something that I try to use in my life, where it's like I might mess up, but it's like, okay, Nunc Coepi, now I begin. Now I start again. So in conclusion, growing up a Catholic in San Diego, I couldn't have asked for a better role model as an NFL player in Philip Rivers. He's a tremendous player, and he is the ultimate competitor. As you can tell, he's played through a torn ACL. He started 230 consecutive games, and he will trash talk. It does not matter anybody on the field. He's devoted to his family and his faith, which I find very inspiring. And I know I'll never be an NFL quarterback, unfortunately, as much as I dreamt about it in the backyard growing up. But I hope I have and can emulate his devotion to his family and his faith life. Thank you.